So Ghost released an EP a few years ago. I gotta check this. Hello Ghosties! As I'm delving deeper into the vast universe of Ghost, I recently was told that there was an EP released a few years ago. And suddenly I had one of those, oh really, moments? Which I'm having a lot of, that's part of the journey of Ghost, I think. It's a bit like an Aladdin's cave. You kind of step in and suddenly something grabs your attention and you go, oh, I've got to check this out, or oh, I've got to check that out, and you're going in different directions. And I think that explains why I've been bouncing around on my Ghost journey, which does come with a bit of a downside because it does sort of confuse me in terms of Ghost lore and which papa I'm discussing, and so it does kind of mix me up a bit. And don't forget, I've only been in this fantastically eclectic and funny world of Papa and the Nameless Ghouls just for a few months. And in fact, some of you will have noticed, remember that special film that I did about Tobias a couple of weeks ago? Well, in the intro, I gave a list of papas. I said, Papa Emeritus 1, Papa Emeritus 2, Papa Emeritus 3, Cornucopia, and you would have noticed there's one section where I talk about the last papa, and it kind of gets chopped off. Very bluntly, let's say. And the reason for that is that on the original one that I posted, I actually said Papa Emeritus 5. Yes, I know. That's me getting mixed up, right? Of course, it's Papa Perpetua, right? And I wouldn't re-record anything because part of the fun and authenticity of doing something is that you just give it, first reaction. You know what I mean? So, So not re-recording it, what I did is use the very rudimentary YouTube editor to try and cut off the emeritus bit and kind of butchered it a little bit. So the film I'm really happy with, but that particular part you'll think, oh, what happened there? Well, that's the reason why. But actually, it was received really well from you guys, and I think you appreciated my little background check. And I put a little bit of humour in there as well, and it's not too in depth either, and it wasn't supposed to be, But anyway, just in case you're wondering why it was like that, and also to explain why I get so confused, I'm confronted with an Aladdin's cave, And, well, when I heard about this EP, I was like, okay, now that's interesting. I haven't heard anything off that. So that's what we're going to do today. And the track that I have selected is Mary on a Cross. It was released in 2019, and it's called The 7 Inches of Satanic Panic. Okay. Mary on a Cross. I can already imagine Tobias having some fun with this. And as I usually do, I will be listening purely to the audio. And when I do that, I also focus on the lyrics as well. So it'll be interesting to see what cheekiness Papa is up to in this one. So, let's try this. Okay. This is cool, man. Keyboard driven, huh? That's a nice melody. That must have been the chorus. I love the riff underneath the keyboard. Cool vocal layers as well, eh? I just stopped it just 1 second. That vocal style. Really, I didn't expect that. That's new. Almost like, we'll talk about it after the song, because I'm breaking the song up, but yeah. Yeah, that was, yeah. Okay. Such a cool melody. Man, that was great. And he finishes with that deep vocal, which, when I briefly interrupted the song, was new as well, right? It was, I haven't heard that before. The reason why I was thinking, and now with that keyboard, because it's very keyboard driven, right? And you have that great underlying guitar riff. But it's very keyboard driven all the way through. And then it kind of reminded me with the vocal. Remember I did the Rats reaction, and I was trying to show off with my Latin. I said Rattus Norvegicus. Okay. Because obviously ghosts always use Latin. Well, the thing is, I knew about Rattus Norvegicus because it's actually the name of a Stranglers album. Now, I mentioned that last month, and a couple of you commented and said, oh, by the way, you mentioned the Stranglers, and Tobias has done a cover of a Stranglers song in the past. I'm like, okay. So if that's the case, then they must be also an inspiration to him, right? Because we've all, I've already said about, I've heard elements of The Doors or elements of 80s glam rock or whatever, Deep Purple. Oops. And now I'm kind of identifying maybe there's a Stranglers inspiration there. I'll be honest with you, the first album that I bought, proper album, as a really, really young lad, was Rattus Norvegicus. I mean, I grew up as a really small kid listening to the Stranglers, and the Pistols and the Damned, but the Stranglers were really important to me when I was a young boy. And in fact, it's thanks to the Stranglers that I first identified the difference between a bass guitar and a rhythm guitar, because their music is so, the bass in it is so identifiable. That's how I learnt the difference. And I wasn't very old at all. So that's why it's so cool that I'm discovering that Tobias, I think, is a fan of the Stranglers, which were one of my really early bands that I was into, you know. And when I think I hear some inspiration, that keyboard, it could almost be like Dave Greenfield's keyboards, the keyboardist of the Stranglers. And that vocal style is so similar to Hugh Cornwell, who was the original Stranglers vocalist. I kid you not. If any ghosties out there don't know the Stranglers, check out their albums from the late 70s, early 80s, and you'll get what I mean. Seriously. But how cool is that? I mean, the Stranglers isn't a well-known band. They were more of an underground band, and in fact, during the punk scene, I don't think they were taken that seriously either. You know, it was the Pistols and the Clash, they were the big bands, and the Damned. So yeah, that's so cool, man. I've got to say, this track has great melodies, like every Ghost track does. I mean, that's the one thing you can say about Tobias and his songwriting. He's always able to nail a killer chorus, man. Always. It's not the most intricate of songs. You know, we've done songs where it's like just manic and layered and goes all over the place. This is more, it's keyboard driven with that riff, and it's more straightforward. Let's have a look at the lyrics, okay? Because I'm curious. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We were speeding together down the dark avenues, but besides all the stardom, all we got was blues. But through all the sorrow we've been riding high, and the truth of the matter is I never let you go, let you go. We were scanning the cities, rocking to pay their dues, but besides all the glamour, all we got was bruised. But through all the sorrow we've been riding high, and the truth of the matter is I never let you go, let you go. Okay. We'll carry on. You go down just like Holy Mary. Mary on a cross. Not just another Bloody Mary. Mary on a cross. If you choose to run away with me, I will tickle you internally. Yeah, when I read that one, it was... that made me chuckle. And I see nothing wrong with that. Of course, why not? That first section, is it a literal journey? But could be like a journey on a road, but it's also an experience journey maybe, because they're on about fame. And it sounds like we're talking about, dare I say, a rock group traveling around. They talk about glamour, stardom. So maybe a group like Ghost. But there's also an element of a relationship. Of course. You go down like Holy Mary. And I will tickle you internally. Yeah. Okay. Let's tackle the Mary on a cross thing after we've done the next section. We were searching for reasons to play by the rules, but we quickly found out it was just for fools. Now, through all the sorrow, we'll be riding high, and the truth of the matter is I never let you go. Let you go. And then it comes back to the chorus. And actually, it's the chorus all the way to the end then. The chorus. You go down just like Holy Mary. Mary on a cross. Not just another Bloody Mary. Mary on a. Mary on a cross. that's kind of like a reverse depiction, right? Because of course Mary is usually the one looking up at Jesus on the cross, so there's a, you know, and going down. That's also could be a reverse depiction of somebody being holier than thou, I guess. Switch of roles. But what is the context of it? I mean, I guess you can read into this, as I've discovered over other songs. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I'm not far off. But you can read a lot into this, can't you? And I know that sometimes Tobias can be quite deeply prophetic. But he also likes to mess around, right? Depending on, I guess, his mood. That's the great thing about Tobias and his humour. Sometimes you've got to look, okay, what's he up to here? You know, he's having a bit of fun. There are things you could take literally, but there's lots of layers there. I'm guessing that Papa is having some fun and poetic license. So if there is a special meaning to this, tell me. Because at the moment I'm not seeing it. Because it feels very multi-layered. And not for the first time, because actually there's been other songs. Whenever Ghost does a more straightforward musical song, the lyrics then are multi-layered and quite intricate. And this is one of those tracks. The music is more straightforward, but I'm guessing there's a lot of layers in the lyrics. But that was very cool, man. Love the way that he brought in another element of vocals which I haven't heard before. And it's just a really cool track, man. The melodies and everything. I guess it's what I can expect. Oh, I'm going to say expect the unexpected. No, I expect the expected. I expect great melodies with Ghost. And yes, that was a really, really cool track. Yeah, very cool. All right.